All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lowtech Tuck, standing by.
Lock S-foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Animal Squadron podcast. This is your hairiest host, Mother Goose.
And as always, everyone's favorite host. That's right, Mac, I said it. Lowtech Tuck.
He dethroned you, Mac. That's what you get for leaving us for so long.
Yeah, I will say I'm excited for this comeback, whatever he says.
Oh, yes, 100%. Which should be soon. I mean, I can't say for sure, but I think within the next couple episodes, we should have our boy back.
Yeah, I hope so.
Same.
I hope so.
Well, so today we are going to be talking about Star Wars Outlaws, which is not at all what we had planned for this week. And Ubisoft just decided to bless us with 2 great trailers.
Oh yeah, they had to go and do it to us.
For sure.
I love it.
So, you mentioned that you'd heard that they'd been working on this game before, right?
Mm-hmm. And all I had seen was from the cinematic trailer was like that scene where it's like panning over like stormtrooper armor. Mm-hmm. And I'd seen some like some TikToks, I think, like, and this was probably 3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, an exciting open world Star Wars game is coming, blah blah blah. And I didn't really think that much of it because I was like, this could easily just be a fan made TikTok. Like,
yeah,
I was like, this would be really cool. I hope they do it. But it turns out it's a real thing. Like, that was an actual leak, I guess. So
nice. Yeah, I hadn't heard anything of it. So I was watching the Xbox showcase, which we don't have to get into, but they freaking crushed it this year. And I was freaking out when I saw it, and I was just so excited. And I was like, oh, okay. It was just a cinematic trailer on Sunday. And I was like, maybe we'll mention it in the next episode. It's just a cinematic trailer. There's not that much to talk about. And then Monday, they hit us with a 10-minute gameplay trailer. And I was like, we have to talk about this. There's so much.
Oh, yeah, dude. And it looks so good. It looks awesome.
It looks so good.
And not only have I been loving all of the new Star Wars games that have been coming out the past, like, I don't know. Within the past 10 years, I've had several Star Wars games that I've absolutely loved.
Yeah.
But this one, I also, like, another game that I really like is No Man's Sky. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was just, like, a Star Wars game. Well, like, several Star Wars games, and No Man's Sky had a big old baby, and that's what we're getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to start by talking about the cinematic trailer first, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
A couple things that I have. We see some rebel ships leaving, a Star Destroyer comes in, and a rebel ship crashes into it. My first thought is, that's the exact scene from Rogue One. That's the Rogue One scene, which I looked it up. It's actually not. It's very similar. The Rogue One scene, it's a different ship that crashes into this Star Destroyer. And I think in the cinematic trailer, it crashes in on the right side. In the Rogue One, it crashes in on the left side. But either way, it's super similar.
Yeah, no, it really is. And from the back of it, I mean, because you only see it for like a couple seconds, but I mean, it almost looks like one of the Hammerhead class Corvettes.
Yeah, I think it is.
I hope it is. That'd be awesome to get to. I mean, and also, like, I hope you can, like, walk around in there and, like, you know, that'd be cool. Or, like, what also would be cool, because this takes place, I think, between Empire and Revenge of the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Goodness sakes, yeah.
Yes, 5 and 6.
It's been a long day. But anyway, so I think it'd be really cool to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this game is just going to be so deep. And let's see, in the trailer, we also get to see your favorite syndicate, I think. The Pikes, right?
Yep, yeah. And then also the people who come in on the cinematic trailer, with the helmets, and they're like, "She's in here."
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Phoenix helmet a little bit.
Yeah, I thought so too. And also, like, is that a new syndicate? I don't think I'd seen them before.
It might be, or it might be just like hired bounty hunters.
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure. We also get to see Sabak.
Yep, they're playing Sabak, and she's cheating, as always.
Yes, with our best boy Nyx, which I'm sorry is my new favorite. It's my new favorite Star Wars creature.
Oh yeah, the armadillo cat lizard thing. I mean, he's adorable.
Yeah, so
I love that little fella.
a couple things on him. The devs have come out. They did an interview when they said he's a Marqual. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's a new species that we haven't seen before. And they specifically said something about him coming from a mysterious planet. They use those words, mysterious planet, which makes me think that we're going to kind of get to discover his origin throughout the game.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. And also, mysterious planet. This is totally tinfoil hat, just off the wall conspiracy theory. What if it's Yoda's planet? What if we finally get the answer?
That would be nice. That would be
That'd
nice.
be cool. Probably not going to happen though, but it'd be cool.
I like the tin hat theory though.
Yeah.
So Nyx, not only is he the best creature, he's voiced by D. Bradley Baker.
Is he really?
Yeah. I was
that's
doing
awesome.
some research for it beforehand. Specifically, I was trying to find out what his species name is, and I found that out as well, which I thought is a really cool detail.
I would say, like, really, everything's voiced by D. Bradley Baker.
Right? D. Bradley Baker
I like it.
is Star Wars now.
He really is.
I love that in this trailer, it's just a trailer, we get our classic Star Wars cantina scene.
Yeah, we do. And then also, I like how she starts the fight to try to get away, but it's also kind of an accident.
Right.
Like, she's trying to reach for that guy's blaster, and then he just shoots at the ground and hits that Gamorrean in the shoulder.
Yeah. And I don't know. I really like the music of this trailer.
Yeah.
It really sets a mood. So she makes it to her ship, and we see a BX droid commando, which we'll talk about more. We get his name confirmed later. But we also get a guy named, what was it, Kalen? Jalen. That's what I wrote, but I think my autocorrect might have changed it. Yeah, okay, sorry. It is Jalen.
Jalen.
I was looking at it, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. My phone autocorrects pretty much all of my Star Wars notes.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
I'm sorry, but you can't tell me this isn't Kyle Katarn, right?
I don't know who that is. I'm really bad with actor names, dude.
Oh, it's so Kyle Katarn is a character, an EU character that first appeared in what was it, Dark Empire or Dark Forces.
Okay.
And then he goes on, I believe, to become a Jedi within the Jedi Academy games.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle Katarn. Oh, yeah, it does look just like him.
Right?
Holy crap, yeah.
That's one reason I wanted to talk about this trailer is because, I saw it and I was like, that's Kyle Katarn. And I'm not the only one. There's, a ton of articles already saying, is this Kyle Katarn? Which, I mean, a couple things here. It could be just Kyle Katarn and he just is using a fake name to trick our protagonist, Kay Vess, or it's Kyle Katarn and the devs said, "Hey, we want to bring this character into canon, and we're just going to change his name."
Yeah.
Or it just could be a coincidence that he looks exactly like him.
I don't know, because I thought they also mentioned that Star Wars Outlaws won't really have Jedi.
Yeah, well, so he doesn't start as a Jedi, but he does become one later after the Empire's fall. So it could be a way to just introduce the character.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So I think there are a couple things I want to talk about, but in terms of actually what we see in the trailer, is there anything else you saw that you wanted to point out?
Rancor.
We did see a Rancor, yes.
And since it's before episode 6, I wonder if that's the same Rancor that Luke kills.
Oh, yeah.
Because we do see Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing that I've got in my mind right now.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I've just got two things. First is I really hope this game tackles what the crime syndicates look like now that Maul's gone. Because, like, we have this big gap in their history where, like, we know following Clone Wars, Maul was still in charge of the crime syndicates. We know in Solo he was still in charge. And then sometime between Solo and Rebels, he kind of goes nuts and says he loses focus and decides, I want to kill Obi-Wan, you know. And so there's this big chunk where it's like, okay, what do they do now that they don't have a one set leader guiding them all?
Yeah. Well, and I think this trailer kind of hints to it anyway. Like, it looked like that there's definitely like a splintering, like there's a power vacuum.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different syndicates trying to take over the galaxy.
I really hope it touches on Maul a little bit, even just like a flashback or some characters talking about it, or Disney stop being cowards and just give us a live action Maul movie. You set it up like 5 or 6, 8 years ago, maybe.
Stop being cowards. I like that.
Let's see. And the last thing I have is, so we did get a gameplay trailer, but I'm not going to lie. After watching this cinematic trailer, I was really worried. I was like, this looks good, but we didn't see any gameplay. We know that Ubisoft just canceled like a bunch of their games recently, which if this was one of their canceled games, they wouldn't have shown a trailer for it. But I was just a little worried. I was like, is this all we're going to get? Is this project even going to happen? It looks great, but...
Is it Star Wars 1313 Part 2?
Right. Mm-hmm. But now, like I said, literally the next day, or maybe it was Tuesday, but I think it was Monday, we got a 10-minute gameplay trailer, and I feel so good about this game. I feel so good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I like how, like, the gameplay trailer puts out that little thing where it's like, you know, still a work in progress. This isn't probably how the game's actually going to look. Like, this, like, isn't necessarily, like, performance. This is just gameplay, kind of. And then you watch it, and it looks amazing. Like, I mean, It looks like if they released that, I think a lot of people would be happy.
Yeah, and I will admit there were... So, I guess just to get kind of the negatives out of the way, because I just have two. The in-game cinematics looked a little rough at times. Like, specifically with Kay's face and her mouth, just something about it looked unfinished.
Well, like, it also kind of looked like, too, I don't think her mouth really matched up with the
words.
Voice.
Yeah.
It looked like you were watching a subbed movie.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, a dubbed movie. Yeah.
Which, on that, you know, we have, like, a whole nother year, probably, before the game comes out, if not around a year and a half. I could see this being a holiday 2024 release.
Yeah. Well, and that'd give them hopefully plenty of time to clean it up.
Yeah.
Also, like, in a couple moments, didn't her hair look kind of weird to you, too?
Yeah.
Like, it looked like kind of chunky.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up. In the actual gameplay, her hair and her jacket looked like they were having some frame rate issues, specifically.
Mm-hmm. But also, that's stuff that is fixable.
Yes,
so,
100%. Yeah. But, like, those were my two complaints. About 12, I think, almost 13 minutes of cinematic and gameplay trailer all combined. Those were my two complaints. So that being it is really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel, too. I mean, I really... I like the mechanics a lot. As far as, like, what it looks like you're going to be doing. I mean, it looks like it'll be really fun.
Yeah. So getting into it, it looks like we've talked about this on this podcast a couple times that the Pikes don't necessarily have a set design. But from what we saw in the cinematic trailer from Sunday and then this gameplay trailer today, it looks like we're getting multiple Pike designs, which I really appreciate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do too. Like, I know, like, you see, like, a blue one,
Yeah.
And
then there's one where we can actually see his face, and then in the cinematic trailer they had those like weird helmets they wear. Yeah.
Yep.
So the gameplay starts with a stealth section. Kay is kind of just walking around, and my first thought was, dang it, it's going to be a stealth game, which I know a lot of people love, but it's not necessarily my cup of tea.
yeah, same. I would much, and especially a Star Wars game, like, I really like to just run in there and start blasting.
Right.
I love doing that.
Which
Yeah.
I think the devs or whoever made this trailer knew that people were going to think that, because we get this really cool stealth section where she's using Nyx. We can see that Nyx has like multiple different options for like distraction, attacking people, getting items and stuff. So we see this section, and then immediately a shootout starts.
Yep. Yeah, I like that too. And I like how also, like, you think that she's going to, like, after she ropes down and you think that she's about to escape, and then all of a sudden she turns and that guy's standing there and he pulls out his blaster and he's like, "You there, stop."
Right.
Like, that's awesome. What a great way to start the gunfight.
Yes. We don't have to go too deep into this, but I appreciated the attention to detail. Like in the shop, they're working on an A-wing, but there's also a yellow TIE fighter that is getting worked on, which I didn't mean to talk about this, but I'm thinking might now be the Rebels TIE fighter, because they steal a TIE fighter and they paint it, and I'm pretty sure they paint it yellow.
Nice.
When I say Rebels, I mean specifically the TV show Rebels, Sabine and Ezra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's okay, so it's not just yellow, it's yellow and orange with some like checkered patterns on there. So now that I'm looking at it, I don't think it's the same ship, but that's kind of the vibes it gave me.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe yellow, like maybe it was a Imperial training TIE fighter or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, if you're doing training missions and training people how to fly it, you would want something high-vis like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. T-Nell with the good points, as always.
Sometimes. We'll see.
But no, I think the gunplay looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like how it had sort of some Fallout kind of mechanics where, like, whenever she's on the speeder bike and you can, like, mark people where you're about to shoot them.
Oh, the bullet time, yeah.
Yeah, or I guess, like, Grand Theft Auto, RDR have that too. But anyway, like, I thought that was cool. I liked how you can pick up other guns.
Yes.
So that kind of tells me that there's probably going to be a lot of different gun options, which I think will be fun.
And I love that you could have Nyx go pick the guns up for you.
Yep.
Like I said,
now,
best creature.
What I really hope you can do is train Nyx to use a gun.
Here, Nyx, put this in your mouth. Use your tongue to pull the trigger. Hold it with your little axolotl tentacles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I also like too how you have to take cover and like the mechanics with that of like, you know, she'll just peek over and start shooting and then get back down and stuff. I mean, I like games like that where you have to take cover.
Yes,
that kind of gives me more like Ghost Recon or like
The
Last of Us kind of.
Have you played the Gears of War games?
Yeah, that's actually a much better way to. Yeah, Gears of War. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna suggest. If you like cover shooters, like Gears of War is like the go-to. But yes, I completely agree. I mean, combat is such an important part of a game, and like, so I've been playing Redfall, which, you know, I actually just put out a review for, if you want to go check out on my YouTube channel, Mother Goose 27. And it's a lot better than people say it is, but I will admit the gunplay is kind of slow, and it really hurts the experience. And so watching this, I was just like, man, or watching specifically the Outlaws gameplay trailers, man, this gunplay just looks so good. It looks smooth, it looks fast-paced, it looks intricate, which I was just really excited for.
Oh yeah, and it also looks like it's you've got some options too. Like you can overload the blaster.
Yeah.
You almost have like a selector switch where you can switch from like semi-automatic to like full automatic and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up next. I paused it on that to see exactly what the modes were. So you had stun, blaster, and focused. And under stun, it said stun and then mode. So I'm thinking stun might be just like locked in. You always have access to stun. But then under focused and blaster, it said module, which makes me think we can customize our blaster and put different modes on there.
Oh, that'd be cool. What if it was like the blaster from Solo?
Yeah.
Where it's like a blaster that can become like virtually anything. Like it's completely modular. Yeah, I would
love that.
Mm-hmm.
We see a grappling hook shortly after.
Yep.
Mostly to go down, but it still looked good.
Yeah, and one of my notes on there is another tinfoil hat theory, but I feel like what I said earlier about in the past like 10 years, I feel like we've gotten a lot of new Star Wars games, and a lot of them, well, specifically 3 of them that I could think of anyway, not even 3, but a couple of them on launch were absolute bangers. Mm-hmm. But a couple of them, and then 2 more of them were not bangers on launch, but became good later. Yeah. They had to have some things fixed. But what I like is like, it seems like they took gameplay from each of those games and kind of combined it into this game.
Yes.
And so my tinfoil hat theory on this is that for the past like 10 years, they've been thinking about doing this game and making other games to like kind of test out different mechanics, and then this game they're just putting them all together.
Yeah,
because I saw Fallen Order a lot with like the grappling hook part and like kind of gently swinging and stuff. That was some Fallen Order vibes.
Yes,
for sure.
And I'm so sorry. The only thing on that is it's actually a different company. It's not EA this time.
Oh, I know, but
okay.
But it's still. I mean, it just reminded me a lot of
other
Star Wars games we had, and so
because it's a third-person combat game. We've got space combat, we have speeder combat. It's heavily story-focused. Yeah,
heavily cinematic too, like lots of like slow-mo and like action scenes that seamlessly phase into like a cinematic shot. You know what I mean? Like specifically, I'm thinking of a moment of like she's on the speeder bike, and like they blow up, and then like she like turns the bike real quick, and it kind of like zooms out.
Yeah.
Or am I combining the 2 trailers? I don't know.
Maybe.
I watched them really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I know exactly what you're saying. Like there's when she walks into the bar, it cuts from gameplay to cinematic, and then back to gameplay.
Yeah, and it's just seamless. It looks good. Yeah. It looks really good. Yeah.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else on the like this first action scene, the speeder bikes?
The speeder bike, this one seemed to like make a different noise.
Yeah.
Than they do in like Empire and Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. Which makes me think obviously it's a different model. Yeah. And so I'd be kind of curious, like maybe it'd be kind of cool if we could customize our speeder bike and like, say like exchange credits for different models of speeder bike.
Yeah, so that's actually a note I had later. We see specifically that after completing her mission, she gets 2,500 credits. So I definitely think credits and buying things and upgrading things are going to be a really big part of this game.
Yeah, well, and speaking of that scene too, whenever she completes the mission, I like how it gave you a choice, which kind of makes me think that every single choice you're going to make is going to affect the game.
Yes.
And then also I saw too that like after she says no and like steals from the pikes and runs, I saw a thing in the top left hand corner that's like your pike standing like goes down by a few points. And so I think like that's also going to be like, I think that's just another example of I think every decision you make is going to affect the game, which is going to be cool.
Which that is actually, as soon as I saw that exact notification that you were talking about, that's the moment where I was like, we have to talk about this episode. We have to. There's no way we can't.
Yeah.
So on that, the devs, again, from the same interview where we got like the Nyx's species name, they also confirmed that, and this isn't a direct quote, but essentially, because of the reputation system, the missions you have will be dependent on your reputation with certain factions. So, like, if you have a bad reputation with the Pikes, you're not going to get Pike missions. But if you have a good reputation with them, you will, which I love and is going to 100% like keep people playing. That's so good for replayability.
Oh yeah, well, I think for me personally, I mean, say there's 4 factions. I mean, there might be more, there might be less, I don't know. But like, say there are, I would have to play through the game at least 4 times to see what all those missions are. Because I mean, I gotta know.
Right. This is
and
gonna
maybe
be...
I'll like a faction more than another one, and yeah, that'll be cool.
This is going to be a completionist dream or nightmare, depending on how many factions there are. Because we know for sure there's the Empire and the Pikes. We see a lot of rebel ships and stuff, so I'm guessing the rebels will be a faction.
The Hutts.
The Hutts, yeah, we do see Jabba the Hutt. We are on Tatooine at one point in the trailers.
I wonder if also we'll get other Hutts too.
Oh,
like
maybe
not just Jabba.
Right. So that's at least 4 or 5 factions right there, and that's not even considering any of the other crime syndicates. So, this is gonna be a beefy game.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so after the speeder bikes, we get the confirmation that the BX droid commando is named ND5, which let's just take a second to talk about this guy, because I am so excited to see a Clone Wars droid here.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, too, just real quick, I almost wonder if this is an homage or an Easter egg, because he's wearing a leather trench coat.
He is,
and his name's Indy.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
And he goes on adventures.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if they meant to do that or not.
That's such a good point. I would have never thought about that, Tucker.
Just like a Lucasfilm homage. That'd be cool.
Nice little Easter egg. Yeah, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, we've talked about it a couple times on this podcast. I love when projects feature droids, planets, alien species, clothing designs, blasters, whatever, from multiple different trilogies, because each trilogy has a unique design, but these projects that bring them all together are my favorite, because it makes the universe feel like one coherent universe. Yeah,
I agree. And also it's more quote-unquote realistic, just because, I mean, in real life, just because something's old doesn't mean it goes away.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, in Star Wars, people probably did go find battle droids and repurpose them. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I think that's something we'd do in real life.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, which I've loved it, because, like, obviously we saw it in Fallen Order. In Rebels, we see a group that has repurposed some battle droids. Now we're seeing it here. It just warms my heart.
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about Danka, the Mon Calamari broker. Mm-hmm. I just like seeing an evil or maybe not an evil, but a not necessarily good Mon Calamari.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Like, not just part of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Also, I kind of got some Sid vibes from her a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also really curious what Kay stole for them. Like, what are those blue orbs?
Oh, those little pearls?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, since it was stolen from the Pikes, I mean, I'd like to think that it's probably some sort of drug or spice or something, because that's kind of what they trade in the most.
Yeah.
But also maybe it's something way more precious. I don't know.
Yeah, because what is it? I don't know what her name is, but the Empire lady specifically says this is an investment, right?
I think actually Donka says that.
Oh, okay. Either way, though, the Empire wanted it, which makes me very curious on what its importance is.
That it's probably not drugs. It's probably something else.
Hey, maybe Palpatine just needed a little snort just to get through his day, you know?
Crush up a couple pearls.
Right?
Some booger sugar.
Him and, he snorts it while Vader, like, takes off a breathing tube and, like, sucks it up.
Does he have, like, a vacuum mode for his mask?
Yep.
And he even sounds like a vacuum, too. It's like...
Yep. That's how Vader partakes in his recreational drugs of choice. Next thing I had is there's a wanted mechanic and a threat meter mechanic, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. What I like how it's like it definitely gave me some Grand Theft Auto or like RDR vibes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, because also, I mean, we all know, like every single one of us listening to this and me and Elijah talking about it right now, we all know that everyone at least once is going to see how high they can get the wanted beater to go.
Right. And I love I'm hoping it's faction specific, because when it was the Empire, we had their logo at the top right-hand corner with, I think, 6 bars, and there were three of them filled in with red.
Yeah, well, and that'd also be cool, too, if it was faction-based, because what if you can, like, hide with another faction for a while?
Oh,
like, if you find it, and, like, maybe your standing will go up with them.
Yes.
Because you're hiding, like, because, like, they know that they can manipulate you a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll be cool, if that is the way it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do you have anything else here on this section before we move to the space combat section?
That's actually the next thing I have to talk about.
Great, perfect. Their spaceflight and combat looks so good.
Well, and also, you know where that's from is Squadrons.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks a lot like Squadrons.
So,
and that was one thing I really liked about it.
You know, you were mentioning about all the games and stuff, and I wasn't thinking about this till just now. So EA made the last, like, 10 years of Star Wars games. But it wasn't just EA. It was LucasArts games as well, which LucasArts games is working on this one. So I'm curious. So while technically Ubisoft wouldn't be able to take stuff from EA, LucasArts games could take stuff from themselves.
Which is also where my tin hat theory comes in. I mean, I think, you know, maybe they were testing the waters a little bit with Squadrons just to see if they could do a giant, you know, galactic open world game. I don't know.
Yeah. So again, I watched this trailer like 3 times. The last time I watched it, I paused on a lot of stuff to like read everything. So in the spaceflight combat, there were a couple things I wanted to point out. You have shields and health for your ship. But then also you had a limited number of missiles. Specifically, K had 5 in that moment. So I'm wondering if that's something you can buy. Like, you have to buy more, or something you have to keep track of.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be cool. And then also, one thing that Squadrons did that I didn't see in the gameplay trailer, but I hope you can do, is divert power.
Yeah.
In the ship. Like, divert power to shields or engines or... blasters or whatever, depending on the situation. I think that'd be awesome if they did that.
So I was trying to do a little research. I don't know if this is for sure, but somebody says the ship is an EML 850 light freighter called the Trailblazer. Because I was trying to figure out what the ship's name is, because I don't recognize the ship. Do you?
No, I mean, it looked a little bit like the Mantis, but smaller.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for her to have a yacht.
Right.
You know, so it's got to be some kind of freighter, and that was pretty much where I left off.
It's got that same, like, rectangular, squarish kind of shape, but without the long bits that the Mantis has.
Yeah, without the tail. Like
yeah.
And also it's kind of streamlined too.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly there's a lot of cargo space, and there's a lot of cargo in there too. Like whenever she runs in there,
yeah,
there's a bunch of pallets and boxes and everything.
So something I'll be curious to see is if this is the only ship we can have, or if we can get other ships through credits or like stealing other people's ships. Or I'm very excited to see what that all turns out to be.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And you know what? Even if it is just that one ship, I like the design. It's a good ship.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also would like to be able to, buy different ships. Or, like, what if that was a faction thing, too? Like, what if you could get different ships by being part of different factions?
Oh, yeah. That's a really good idea.
Like
I would
maybe
love
you can
that.
get Imperial ships, or maybe you can get Rebel ships, or maybe you can get Pike ships, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, also, you have an option to choose when you want to go into hyperspace. This was on an Xbox controller, so you can hit right on the D-pad to go into hyperspace. So I like that it was an option that you get to choose when you want to go to hyperspace, not the game tells you when.
Yeah. Also, I would really like if they made some way to be able to not only choose when you go into hyperspace, but also a way to have like a galaxy map.
Yeah,
And be able
where
to choose where you go.
That would be awesome.
I think that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I think that's all I have more, but in terms of like the actual combat and like space flying, that's all I have. You have anything else?
Not really. I mean, it looks like especially the aerial combat, I really liked. Like, for instance, the debris just looked so crisp. I mean, it just looked really good for an early gameplay trailer. So I'm really psyched about this game. Yeah.
Same. So last thing we get is just kind of a flashing of different planets and trailers. We did see that Kay got one of those purple pearls for Nyx, so hopefully it's not drugs.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Probably not drugs.
So in this thing, we only have we see several planets and locations. The only thing I had was Tatooine, and what are they? It's the ATSTs, right? That we see here?
ATSTs, yep.
So like Fallen Order or like Force Awakens, like you're a Jedi, right? Like you can handle these things. I'm very curious how Kay is going to be able to handle an ATST or an ATAT. If we get to see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, great. So I've just got... Do you have any planets here that you wanted to point out, or...
No, not really. A lot of them... I saw a couple that looked like they might be new.
Yeah. Yeah, and there were also a couple that I saw that I was like, this looks familiar, but I can't tell where I've seen it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing I've got is just a couple notes from this interview that I've mentioned a couple times that I thought was really interesting. The devs have mentioned that there'll be multiple planets, each with multiple cities and settlements to explore.
We're getting our biomes, Elijah.
We're getting our biomes. It's like they listen to this podcast.
And you should too. If you want to be part of the conversation, email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com.
Hell yeah. So that was really exciting, but they also specified that every orbital region will have its own distinct identity.
That's awesome. So like different moons and different, yeah. That'd be cool.
Or like we saw in this one, like there was in the trailer, there was a bunch of debris around there, or maybe we'll get to see some space stations or some spaceports. I don't know. I'm really excited. It feels like this game is very deep.
Yeah.
And that's...
Yeah, it looks like something we can play for a long time.
Yeah. I'm checking through. I think that's everything I have.
Yeah, same here. I mean, 13 minutes of content, and we talked for
50 minutes.
50 minutes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I figured.
I think we dissected this bad boy.
Yeah, I know you were a little nervous, before you watched the trailer on if we'd have enough to talk about.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I don't know if we can stretch this into 30 minutes. Like,
But after we got talking, like writing my notes today as I was rewatching the trailers, I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep this under an hour. So I'm glad we did it.
Yep, me too.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Like our boy T-Nell mentioned, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. We'd love for you guys to be a part of this conversation. Also, if you could leave us a review wherever you're listening, we would really appreciate that. And if you're on Spotify, the question of the week will be, what are your thoughts on the Outlaws trailers we got? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you nervous because it's Ubisoft and they haven't had necessarily the best track record lately? Let's have a discussion. Anyway, thank you again.
Either way.
Or a fight, yeah, for sure. Thank you guys so much for listening. For the Animal Squadron, this has been Mother Goose.
And Lowtech Tub.
See you, everybody.
Adios.